Luna's Bedtime Stories. Whisked Away, a Kiddie Kidnapping. Luna woke up and felt an unusual sense of restlessness. The call of the outdoors had always intrigued her, but on this day, curiosity got the better of her. With a flick of her tail and a confident leap, she ventured into the backyard without her collar and leash. Mrs. Yu, Luna's kind-hearted owner, was busy in the kitchen preparing lunch for herself and her husband. Mrs. Yu, assuming her pet was simply enjoying the sunny day, didn't notice Luna's absence. The world beyond her familiar abode was a tapestry of scents and sounds. Birds chirped melodiously in the trees, and the sweet aroma of blooming flowers hung in the air. Luna padded further, her senses tingling with excitement. As Luna's venture continued, she found herself roaming Bayville's Main Street. Most of the store owners had grown familiar with Luna and greeted her while she strutted along. Mr. Kim, the town's top baker, waved at her through the window. "Hi, Luna. We're a little busy right now, but come back in a bit. I've got a special treat for you." Mrs. Patel, who ran a tea shop, spotted Luna from a distance and sang Luna's praises to her customers. "That black cat is one of the sweetest little things you'll ever find around town." But it was here on Bayville's Main Street that a well-intentioned tourist, Mr. Henderson from the next town over, spotted Luna and unknowingly mistook her for a stray. Mr. Henderson, fueled by a desire to help, gently scooped her up and placed her in a cozy carrier, thinking he was rescuing a lost feline soul. "We'll help you get to the right place, little one," Mr. Henderson spoke sweetly. Initially, Luna assumed the man was a friend of the Yu family and was escorting her back to their home. But inside the carrier, Luna's bewilderment grew. The comforting scents of Bayville were replaced by unfamiliar odors, and the gentle hum of the car engine signaled a journey towards an unknown place. Luna's eyes flickered with confusion. "Where am I going?" she thought to herself as she tried peeking out the window. The car's engine vibrated through her, and the subtle swaying motion left her feeling disoriented. The rickety rack of the tires as they drove over cobblestone and down foreign alleyways started to scare Luna. She meowed softly, her once confident demeanor now tinged with uncertainty. Meanwhile, Mr. Henderson, the well-meaning tourist, was convinced he had rescued a stray cat in need. He drove towards the local animal shelter, unaware that the scared feline in the carrier was, in fact, a dearly loved pet. Arriving at the bustling shelter, Luna found herself surrounded by a cacophony of meows, barks, and the scent of unfamiliar animals. The environment was overwhelming, and Luna huddled in the corner of her enclosure, her emerald eyes wide with fear. "You'll be better off here than out on the streets, little one," Mr. Henderson said to Luna naively. He handed Luna off to the pound manager, a grumpy-looking man who spoke in grunts. The pound manager then cast Luna aside into a cold cell before continuing with his other duties. Back home, Mrs. Yu noticed Luna's absence. She frantically searched the house, calling out Luna's name, but there was no response. As worry settled in, she decided to visit her neighbors, hoping someone had seen her precious cat. Meanwhile, at the shelter, the staff named the sweet black cat Shadow, which Luna disliked very much. As Luna waited in the shelter, a mix of fear and determination swirled within her. She was determined to find her way back to the Yu family, the people who had showered her with love and care. Inside the bustling animal shelter, Luna, now known as Shadow, adjusted to her new surroundings with a blend of curiosity and caution. The shelter, though filled with other animals, lacked the familiar sense of her home. Despite the initial fear, she observed the other cats around her, each with their unique stories of loss and hope. Luna, with her characteristic elegance, started to interact tentatively, exchanging silent nods and gentle touches with her feline neighbors. As Luna hesitantly explored the communal area, she encountered Whiskers, a charming orange tabby with a mischievous glint in his eyes. Whiskers, who had been at the shelter for a while, shared his personal stories of survival and resilience. He told Luna about the importance of staying strong and hopeful, even in challenging circumstances. Whiskers took Luna under his wing and introduced her to the other shelter cats. He especially emphasized the importance of finding family in the most unexpected places. Among their fellow shelter companions was Daisy, a gentle calico who had faced hardships of her own. Luna found solace in the warmth of Daisy's and Whisker's presence, and the three of them formed an unlikely but unbreakable bond. Luna, Whiskers, and Daisy huddled together, their fur mingling in a patchwork of colors under the dim lights. The trio's presence brought a sense of peace to the otherwise chaotic shelter environment, inspiring hope not only in the cats, but also in the shelter workers who witnessed their fast friendship and unwavering solidarity. Whiskers and Daisy had been at the pound much longer than Luna, and they still had yet to get adopted. They were afraid that if they stayed in the pound any longer, they would be put down soon enough. And so, Luna and her shelter companions decided to work together to plot an escape. Whiskers, Daisy, and Luna, fueled by the desire for freedom, devised a plan to slip past the pound manager's watchful eyes. Luna and her newfound friends readied themselves for the most daring adventure of their lives. Their plan was almost complete, and they looked forward to the following day when they would put it to action. That evening, Luna found solace in gazing out of the shelter window, her eyes fixed on the moonlit sky. No matter where she was, the moon never changed. It was always a constant in her life, and that brought her peace. Maybe Mrs. Yu was at home staring at the same moon as Luna. In that quiet moment, she summoned memories of her cozy home and the comforting presence of her family. These memories became her anchor, reminding her of the love she had left behind. She would be reunited with her family soon enough, Luna hoped. But Mrs. Yu was far from relaxing. Her worry had escalated into a relentless determination to find Luna. She had spent the entire day putting up posters. She had even organized a search party with her neighbors. Together they scoured every backyard, every alley, and every corner of Bayville, refusing to leave any stone unturned. "Has anyone seen Luna?" Mrs. Yu asked, walking up and down Bayville's Main Street. "Why, she was here earlier this morning," said Mrs. Patel. "Come to think of it now, she wasn't wearing a collar, though." Mrs. Yu kept calling out Luna's name, hoping that somehow her beloved pet would hear her call. Although Luna was on a mission to escape the next day, she woke up the following morning to an unexpected surprise. It was the shelter's annual adoption event, and the shelter's staff were busy with things to do as soon as the day started. Bayville's shelter buzzed with excitement. The air was filled with the aroma of freshly baked treats, and colorful banners adorned the walls, each one bearing the name and story of a cat waiting for adoption, including our lost little kitty, Shadow. The shelter was filled with chaos as families made their way in, peeking and poking at all the different animals as their hearts opened to the possibility of giving a home to a furry friend. Luna, Whiskers, and Daisy agreed to revisit their escape plan at another time instead. An adoption day was too good of an opportunity to miss. There was a chance that Whiskers and Daisy might find their forever partners. As families met the cats, stories unfolded. Children giggled as playful kittens batted at their fingers, while elderly couples found solace in the calming presence of older, wiser cats. It wasn't long before a family with kind eyes and warm smiles had noticed Luna. They approached her enclosure, their fingers gently reaching out. Luna, her heart yearning for connection, nuzzled their hands, her eyes reflecting a mixture of hope and longing. But she was resistant to being adopted to them, knowing her true family waited for her back at home. Yet, in that pivotal moment, fate intervened. Mrs. Yu, having tirelessly searched every possible avenue, walked into the shelter. Her eyes scanned the rows of cages until they met Luna's emerald gaze. The recognition was instant, a spark of love and relief passing between them. The shelter staff, witnessing this heartwarming reunion, marveled at the bond between the two. It was a moment that reminded everyone of the resilience of love and the unbreakable connection between a pet and its owner. Among the sea of feline faces, Mrs. Yu was hit with a deep wave of understanding. Luna, once a cherished member of their family, now shared the space with countless others, all yearning for a loving home. Touched by the plight of these animals, Mrs. Yu felt a surge of determination. She knew she couldn't bring back the night Luna had spent in the shelter, but she could make a difference for others. Inspired by Luna's resilience and the courage of her shelter companions, Mrs. Yu hatched a plan of her own. She rallied the friends and neighbors who had helped look for Luna. Through sharing Luna's story and the stories of the other cats at the pound, Mrs. Yu managed to swell their hearts with empathy and sparked a handful of them to adopt during the Adoption Day event. Luna, the resilient black cat, became a symbol of hope, a living testament to the transformative power of love and second chances. By the end of the day, the once full cages now stood empty as Luna, alongside her shelter companions, had found their forever homes, their lives forever changed by the kindness of strangers. Luna bid adieu to Whiskers and Daisy, two friends who had helped her keep her sanity in a scary, unfamiliar place. "Maybe I'll see you again someday," Luna called out to them. Whiskers and Daisy left with newfound smiles on their faces as they snuggled up to their new forever friends. With tears of joy streaming down her face, Mrs. Yu took Luna back home to be with her family, and Luna learned that no outdoor adventure could ever replace her sacred sanctity. The end.